slashes jam and NECO fees. I'm so happy
news.
we're introducing the program with a good news. Well, former Super Eagles player Etuhu stands trial today for match fixing. Kogi lawmakers boycott sitting and Senate probes state's $500 million loan. Akwa Ibom Assembly crisis, Senate orders probe. Uyo women protest against Commissioner of Police. Nigeria's GDP growth will be below 2% in 2018. This is according to the World Bank. Senate okays higher institutions for President's hometown and 9 others. ACF asks President Muhammadu Buhari to probe killing of nearly 100 soldiers by Boko Haram. No army can have enough equipment for operation. This is according to Brete. And let's get to the pictures here. I can see President Muhammadu Buhari waving waving to some of the wounded soldiers in Maiduguri during his visit to Maiduguri, Borno State yesterday at a Chief of Army Staff conference. Zamfara loses 5 pilgrims in Saudi Arabia. But let's talk about unremitted taxes. Kaduna Kano drag federal agencies to tax tribunal. On 2019 election, coalition of opposition parties begins assessment of presidential candidates. And in 2019 election also, we have it here, the presidential candidates and parties chairman to sign peace pact. 49-year-old guard hangs self. Okay, hangs now, in case you didn't get that. Hangs self. He committed suicide over death at Ekiti State Secretariat. Anambra Assembly leadership crisis deepens. Wow. Those are the headlines on the front page of the Punch this morning.
And let's check out the Nation newspaper, starting from the top. 16.4 million naira fraud. XIG. Hindero CP Obani arraigned. You find that story on page 8. Federal government cost of jam necrophones, also on page 9. And Father of 5 hangs self at work in Ekiti on page 5. Wilden Fury, why Joshua will be at ringside. Interested in that story? Check it on page 47. 11.4 billion in naira fraud. EFCC hands over 116 cars to First Bank. Wow, that the story is here continued on page 6. And on the inside, teenagers held for beheading boy, 10 years old. That's on page 5. And Buhari orders troops to wipe out Boko Haram. President hails officers, soldiers, or county soldiers to face justice. And here we can actually see the president with the general Brotai concerning some of the soldiers at the hospital yesterday. Also, federal government, state, local government share revenue totaling 788.139 billion naira for October allocation. That's all on page 9 from Nation newspaper.
Yes, let me take you to the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Nigeria's economy is bleak, says World Bank. Fiscal deficit may widen in 2018. $2.8 billion Eurobond in jeopardy over politicking. Experts warn of post-election monetary backlash. Akwa Ibom police force under fire over assembly invasion. Senate institutes probe wants report in 48 hours. Women and CSOs demand removal of Inspector General of Police and the Commissioner of Police. We remain fair, just, responsible, the Commissioner insists. And Buhari seeks review of strategy on Boko Haram. Senate probes Kogi government over alleged illegal 180 billion naira foreign loan. Federal government slashes jam and NECO fees. Okay, 17 billion naira for projects. Those are the headlines on the front page of the Guardian. But on the back page of Guardian newspaper this morning, Guardian Sports, we will beat Nigeria again. Bayana coach vows. Excited over tickets to France 2019 World Cup. Well, really, you beat us again? After beating you hands down 0-1. Well, Super Sand Eagles to camp in Lagos for beach soccer AFCON. Alright. And Saunders put £70,000 on Tyson Fury to beat Wilder in heavyweight bout. Focus has shifted to Falcon title, says Falcons coach. That's after accomplishing their first target of a ticket to the FIFA World Cup. That's Nigeria's next target is to retain the women's AFCON title by beating South Africa in Accra on Saturday. This is according to the head coach, Thomas Denevai. Okay, those are the headlines on the back page of Guardian newspaper this morning.
And quickly, let's move to the Daily Sun on 2023. I'll start with that one. Forces against Eagle presidency at work. Okorocha is saying this, and with the writer says those involved using Uzodinma, Madode, and others that you find on page 40. It's the biggest one here. Buhari will end Boko Haram madness, promises modern weapons as ACF calls for inquiry. And on page 6, Peace Panel raises fears over 2019 polls, expresses worry over insecurity in Northeast Rivers. On page 10, government to recover $7 billion CBN bailout to banks. On page 6, and on 2019, INEC earmarks 85 billion naira for logistics that you find on page 49. And of course, this has been making rounds. Federal government slashes JAM NECO exam fees to the back page now. There's the single sports story I've got here. Super Falcons coach vows to avenge South Africa loss. That's on page 46. All the details and the Daily Sun newspaper.
Yes, now to Vanguard newspaper. World Bank predicts wider 2018 federal budget deficit. Atiku firms support deal with Southeast leaders. Luth resident doctors commence indefinite strike today. When are we going to be tired of strikes? Well, Boko Haram madness must stop. Boko Haram madness must stop. This is according to President Muhammadu Buhari. Vows to equip military better, improve soldiers' welfare. Bodies of all soldiers killed in military attack recovered, according to the army. And there's a picture here, a very dark one. We can see Akwa Ibom PDP women protesting, demanding removal of the state police commissioner yesterday. But why is it that when it comes to political protests like this, they always like to use the women? Why? Well, how many of these women even understand what is going on?
We should be asking the women why
they are volunteering to do that.
Well, Commissioner of Police responds to that, saying that the police is not partisan. Now stable at 364 naira in Parliament Market. Reps declare state of emergency on education as federal government slashes JAM and NECO exam fees. Revoke $1.1 billion Malibu oil deal. Prosecute suspects. Recover lost cash. Reps insist. Fitch worries over federal government's ability to support banks. And on 2019 election, Buhari, Atiku, others to sign MOU on violence-free campaigns and hate speech. This is according to Abubakar. Those are the headlines on the front page of Vanguard newspaper, but on the back page now, Vanguard Sports also, we will teach South Africa a lesson. This is according to Olueyi. This is the kind of statement I like. Teach them a lesson, please. Well, Moses out of Europa League clash against Park, and Bayana coach plans to beat Falcons again. Lagos ensures 300 athletes for National Sports Festival. And there are details of today's fixtures here. Europa League, Champions League results, CAF Champions League. Talk about it. You'll find it on the back page of Vanguard Sports this morning.
Okay, and the very last one here is the Daily Independent. Federal government probes Panama Papers, the CBN 2006 bank bailout. The story is on the front page, but continues on page 5. To the biggest one here, fears as army setbacks cast shadows over 2019 election. Wipe out the terrorists from Earth's surface. Buhari orders a military. Okay, and we see those pictures here with the president at the hospital visiting the injured soldiers. Two brothers arrested with fresh human head on page 7. That's quite sad. And at the bottom, kudos as federal government slashes JAMB NECO BECE fees. Okay, teleology yet to fulfill conditions for takeover 9 to take over 9 mobile, and this according to NCC, which you find on page 4. And on the Akwa Ibom saga, or brouhaha, so to speak, Akwa Ibom Assembly crisis, women youth protest alleged police involvement on page 5. Attention as to a number of assembly factions plan sitting today. That you find on page 3.
Alright, it's the newspaper headlines and editorial on Rainbow 94.1 FM. It's time for us to get into the analysis now. Remember, you can join us on Twitter at Rainbow941 FM. Just use the hashtag Rainbow Morning Show. Our WhatsApp number is open. The number is 080-999-08400. When the time comes, we'll roll out the studio lines for you to call in. Right now, let's get to the first story up for review this morning. We'll talk about the Chief of Army Staff Conference which held yesterday. It was moved to Borno State, Maiduguri precisely, and President Muhammad Buhari had the opportunity to boost the morale of Nigerian soldiers. Well, let's get to page 13 of the Punch newspaper for more details. Okay, this is the particular story. President Muhammad Buhari has convened a meeting of the head of state and governments of the Lake Chad Basin Commission, and the meeting, which is scheduled to start on Thursday, that's today, in N'Djamena, Chad, will look into ways of finding solutions to the resurgence of attacks by Boko Haram. Remember, Nigeria recorded one of the heaviest casualties on November 18 when Boko Haram terrorists sacked military bases in Metele, a village in Borno State, killing many soldiers. And still talking about that, the presidency said on Wednesday Buhari convened the meeting as the chairman of the LCBC to review the security situation in the areas affected by Boko Haram insurgency and adopt measures to enhance the capacity of the multinational joint task force to meet the challenges of securing the area. The statement by a special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, explained that the president of Chad, or the presidents of Chad, Cameroon, Niger, and the Central African Republic were invited for the meeting. Okay, and talking about the one that happened yesterday, let's just talk about what the Pan-Northern Socio-Political Organization, Arewa Consultative Forum, said on this. They called on the federal government to institute an inquiry into the killing of nearly 100 soldiers by Boko Haram in Metele, Borno State last week. Okay, but at the meeting yesterday, the president reassured Nigerians that they are going to provide more equipment for them. They're going to look into their welfare, and then even Rita did say that they were going to revisit the strategy they have been using to fight insurgency so that a repeat of the Metele attack will not happen.
Yeah, the visit is quite encouraging, and I mean it should boost the morale of the soldiers who are still there to engage this informal war we are fighting. And I appreciate what the Chief of Army Staff also mentioned and the Governor of Borno State, and they made reference to the fact that we have these issues because of poverty in that region and some other challenges we have. And if you look at what we have spent, really, it should make us to find a way of resolving this matter once and for all. Between 2011 and 2015, for instance, the country spent about $16.382 billion on this. We have invested so much, even between 2015 and 2018 also. And it's been suggested that can we also combine the fight against a destructive ideological mindcast. The Boko Haram that started this battle presented a grievance. Can we begin to work on that? Why are we fighting education? What will be the result of that? Can we also engage the mindset and mentality of embracing death or killing as righteousness, for instance? Because I was reading a report and the man said how do you deal with a man who rejoices at confronting the barrels of gun, believing that if this takes my life, I'm doing God a great favor. So there are several issues. And again, I believe we have in this country too a national counter-terrorism strategy. When was the last time we visited it? So there are a lot of issues, and now you are seeing other countries getting involved in that region. And again, in support of my president, this is his regime, and that is the point I have been making. What picture is being painted now of this regime, particularly given his military stature, and the picture appears like our military force is being overwhelmed by insurgents, even if we decide to refer to them as insurgents, which should not be the case. So these are all the elements, but I know that this also will come to pass, and a major thing also is to pay attention to our borders. Who are the agencies in charge of that? Because we have even admitted that terrorists are invading from outside the country, and when all these are put together, I believe that someday we will be able to drastically deal with this worrisome and embarrassing situation. And because if whether we like it or not, right now we know how much INEC claims that they will spend on logistics, because their complaint is that they will need gunboats in some area, need special security facilities because of the elections and things like that. So it's costly to us, even in social environment, in terms of attracting investments into the country. So it must be faced headlong, and we wish the government the best. And again, another point that came up is the fact that, have we tried to study if the people are not even loyal to the insurgents, given the complaints we have in respect of the economy? Like the governor mentioned poverty, and we saw that in the case of Dapchi, that even when the girls were returned, the people were shaking hands with these so-called insurgents. So we need to balance all this, and by and large, good governance will help us to drastically deal with this situation. But it's a good move that the president made there.
Well, the House of Representatives actually set up an ad hoc committee to unravel the lapses that led to the death of soldiers at Metele village in Guzamala local government area of Borno State. The committee was set up after the lawmakers deliberated on a motion of urgent public importance during Tuesday's plenary, that's at the National Assembly in Abuja. But now we know that the president also visited the injured soldiers at the hospital. There are pictures of the president waving at them here in the news. But let's quickly get to a better news. That is what the federal government is doing in the education sector. We get to page 40 inside the Punch newspaper to talk about what is happening now to JAM fees, NECO fees, and so on and so forth. The federal government yesterday announced a reduction in the cost of application form for the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board JAM from 5,000 naira to 3,500 naira. JAM conducts the unified tertiary examinations, the basic exams taken by higher institution admission seekers in the country. A similar slash was announced for the senior secondary certificate examination from 11,350 naira to 9,850 naira. And remember, the SSCE is conducted by the National Examination Council, that's NECO. But the decisions were taken at the Wednesday's Federal Executive Council, that's yesterday, which was presided over by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo in Abuja. The Minister of Education, Professor Adamu Adamu, who broke the news to State House correspondents soon after the meeting, said the government reacted to the complaints and pleas by parents in slashing the application fees. And he even said it that the fees we pay for JAM, NECO, and some of these examinations can be reduced or could have been reduced, being that most of the money generated are even siphoned by corrupt officials and so on and so forth. So why not just slash it? What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's a fantastic move there, particularly if we consider what education stands for. It's the process of facilitating learning, the acquisition of knowledge, skills, values, beliefs, and habits. Some of the crises we have in the country, for instance, the insurgency, you can see the extent to which fighting education can bring also. If these minds are refined through education, they will have better options. And of course, we now move to the secondary level by ensuring that when our children are educated, they are also engaged through meaningful employment or giving facilities that will help them to be, prosperous entrepreneurs. And we have less of criminality in our society, because there's no society that is free of some of these issues. So whatever can be done to encourage education is welcome. And we also advise that beyond the splashing of money for forms, because that is just like a starting point, that our institutions be well equipped. For instance, ASU is still on the negotiation table trying to bring the government to respect.
Right. That is right. That's one question I want to ask. Yes, we are slashing the JAM NECO fees, and yet we have ASU still on strike without anything being said.
No, he said something about it. He said a meeting has been organized.
Yes,
meeting has been organized, and at that meeting they intend to reach a conclusion. That's what he said on that one.
Well, it's a good move. Education, brings about progress, civilization, industrialization, and makes the society a friendlier environment.
But have you ever thought of how to, eradicate the issue of striking today, striking tomorrow?
It's simply about prioritization. When we prioritize, for instance, you can hear the budget for logistics for elections that will just take place in a few days. You can see how much we are spending on fighting insurgency reactively. You can see, the imbalance in wages and remuneration, what political appointees earn compared with what, so these are all the elements we can all sit together and find a way of, really putting our hands on the essentials. They say that all things may be needful, but not all things are expedient. So what are those expedient areas? We talked about education, we talked about health, we talked about transportation, and you identify, you talk about power, and you focus on this, and it will reduce the burden you have in other areas that will be compelling you to embezzle money and everything. Let me ask this question finally on this point. Let's assume that today we have 24/7 electricity in Nigeria. Those who need prepaid meters have prepaid meters. Government will make money. Families will not have to be purchasing petrol and diesel. Businesses will be able to manage their budgets effectively. But if these things are not there, it puts a pressure on the economy and the social life.
All right. By the way, the minister did say that Nigerians should remember that the aim and objective of the board of the ministry of JAMB and all of these agencies are not to really make money. Remember JAMB put in about 8 billion naira, the last money they made. So he said that they don't even mind if they can reduce the amount of money they are making just to alleviate, the stress on parents and so on and so forth. Now, let's just go to some other story here. Let's talk about this IPOP protest that happened last week. It really made the news. The International Society for Civil Liberties and Rule of Law yesterday accused the police of bias in the parade of 33 suspected members of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra in Oka, Anambra State on Sunday over the killing of a police inspector. It said the speed at which the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, ordered the parade of the suspect was questionable. What's up now? The speed. That's what we're talking about now, the speed. It said, in a statement by the chairman of its board of trustees, Emeka Umeagbalasi, the group condemned the police's decision to parade the suspects when they had not been found guilty. But then I don't think we've had time to really analyze that story. Remember that particular protest? We heard that a policeman was killed, several others injured. Police equipment. I think the car was even burned, and so on. And 33 suspects were paraded. Some of those suspects claim that they don't have anything to do with the alleged with the killing and with the whole protest. But what do you have to say?
I always pitch my tent on foundation and the root cause of all this. There are agitations. What are these agitations? Even those not in an outright protest manner like the one you just read about, some political leaders in the East visited the president recently, also demanding for developmental attention given to that region. And agitation means a state of anxiety or nervous excitement. So what are the issues that are prompting this? And let's pay attention to it. As we speak now, we still have issues of unity, and our motto as a nation has simplified it. Unity and faith, peace and progress. So whether you are talking about insurgency in the north or wherever, and of course you expect that regionally interpretations will be given to the response of the government, because some will compare what happened when this happened to what happened when this happened. So when we bring in the concept of justice, equity and fairness, which are key elements in good governance, we'll be able to resolve all these issues. But for now, we just must keep working towards it. Like I said, people look at what happened in Akwa Ibom. The police will claim that they are carrying out their duties, but the politicians will claim that no, you are not, you are supporting. So until we come to the point where whether you are in opposition or you are in position, the aim is to make the nation great, then we have less of this, and we can now stop all these suspicions of actions. But the conclusion is that there are agitations in this country. Don't let us wish away these agitations. And the summary is that there must be developmental, visible developmental intervention in all parts of this country.
All right.
Okay, yes, let's move to this Akwa Ibom crisis, really. The one here says a large number of women in Akwa Ibom State marched through major streets in the state, and that was yesterday, calling for the removal of the State Police Commissioner Musa Kimo, led by the State Commissioner for Women Affairs, Dr. Glory Edit, the PDP women leader in the state, Mrs. Mmemme Akpabio, and the former Minister of Lands, Dr. Akon Enyakei, and the women stormed the State House of Assembly complex to express their solidarity with the government amidst alleged intimidation by the federal government. Now, according to the women, for the sake of peace in the state, they said they want the removal of Commissioner of Police Musa Kimo from their state.
Barrister, let me just ask this. If we're talking about women getting into politics, is this what we're talking about? Or is this one of those things we want?
Not at all. Theresa May will not get involved in all this. But you see, for women, they are created specially. But I said it, when God created Adam, Adam was not so excited. And God said, I can make a helpmate. And when he saw the woman, he was excited. So women are perceived as, we must treat them with special care. And that is why when they come out to begin to express themselves, it draws attention. Recall recently, though we are still waiting for that some women threatened in Ogun State to march around naked. I think some of them attempted it. So women, they have this strong force that can be harnessed to also engage issues in the land. And that's why I'm advising political parties, rather than fighting for this, walking naked for these politicians, why don't we say, let women in politics focus on health? Whether at the political level, because our politicians are not impressed and they are not frightened by all these women coming out and everything, because in fact it even helps them. They know how to mobilize and everything. I have been to meetings where all the women get at the end of the day is just a bag containing pack of rice and some soft drinks and maybe one Ankara, and they will now have to be rushing for buses when the big men are driving out in their retinue of Prados and the Lexus. You see, so they are mothers. So they are mothers. I expect, for instance, the northeastern part of the country, the women mobilize and go to the palaces of the emirs. They know what to, let's engage positively. But women are fantastic.
But there are allegations that most of the political protests that we see now are usually money induced.
Definitely.
Do you think that could have warranted this
I
kind of
just
protest.
gave you an example. You won't want to be in a political meeting. I have attended many. You see, towards the end, if you don't want to be embarrassed, you evacuate yourself from the venue, because when it comes to sharing money and food, it can become rowdy. Some remove their gele and you see serious fights, scramble for this temporary stomach infrastructure and
honorarium.
pocket infrastructure.
Honorarium.
Let's still talk about the tension in Anambra State as to Anambra Assembly factions. They're planning to sit today, and in the lingering Anambra State House of Assembly crisis, they plan to sit today, raising fears that there may be a showdown in the state legislature. Now, one of the factions is led by Ikem Uzo Eze, and the other one is which was the impeached speaker Rita Maduabu. Seriously, I really don't want to go into this because they've been having this row for quite some time now. What do you think will be the outcome of this tension?
Foundation again. What is the cost? Allegations of high-handedness, corruption, mismanagement, just like what we have in NHIS. But many Nigerians have even forgotten that anything happened with NHIS.
Yeah.
So we have several issues coming up.
Seriously?
And so these are just cover-ups. I call them symptoms. There are allegations. Can we go to the root of the allegations? You see, and that is the major challenge we have in this country. Several allegations in this country. Before, maybe in the next 3 weeks' time, the name Ganduje is out of the ears and minds of many Nigerians, because there will be other issues that are engaging us. So we need to put a system in place that we address foundational issues. So when you know that when you are given an office, you are accountable to the people, then it minimizes some of these ugly issues we have confronting us.
Since we're talking about allegations, let me also wow you with this. The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission has arraigned a former member of the House of Reps from Ogun State, Onodeko Onamusi, over alleged involvement in the award and execution of contracts worth 68.7 million naira. In a statement yesterday by its spokesperson, Mrs. Rashidat Okojoa, the ICPC said Onamusi was arraigned before Justice or G on 18 counts, but let's not go further in that. The chairman of the National Peace Committee, General Abdulsalam Abubakar, yesterday said presidential candidates and national chairman of all political parties in the country would sign a peace pact ahead of the 2019 general elections. He said the memorandum of understanding that would be signed by those concerned was meant to prevent violence and hate speeches during the campaigns. Abdulsalami, the former military head of state, said this in an interview with journalists in Abuja after a closed-door meeting his committee had with a delegation from the Independent National Electoral Commission led by its chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. And they said that the peace pact would be signed during a meeting scheduled for today. So they want to meet some of this, all the presidential candidates to sign a peace pact, not to cause wahala come 2019 election. But I'd like to also mention some metro stories here. I think most of them are worth mentioning this morning. An official of the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, that's LASMA, identified as Rotimi Adeyemo, was shot dead in the Yanakwaja area of Alimosho, local government area of yesterday, allegedly by Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squad official. That's an FSAS official. According to reports, Adeyemo, while controlling traffic at the Yanakwaja roundabout, stopped a motorist who was alleged to be an operative of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad for violating a traffic rule. But the motorist, who was apparently annoyed by the action of the LASMA official, allegedly brought out a gun from inside his vehicle and shot the official dead. These are some of the things that these officials risk on a daily basis, trying to, control traffic and all that, enforce law and order. And then brothers behead 10-year-old for 200,000 naira in Lagos. Wow. And a 49-year-old guard hangs himself over death at Ikiti Secretariat. The dangling body of the father of 5, a native of Igogo Ikiti in Moba, local government area of the state, was discovered yesterday morning when workers resumed for work at the state secretariat. And the workers gathered to discuss the incident, and men of the Nigerian Police and Department of State Services also visited the scene, and really sad. Still talking about not paying workers, salaries, and backlog of salaries, and this is what it can do to a man. And of course, the other metro stories here that you can check out across the newspapers.
Quickly, let me just say this one fact: federal government, states, and local government share 788.1 billion naira for October. Now, the federal government, states, FCT, as well as the 774 local government, yesterday shared 788.1 billion naira for the month of October. The Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, disclosed this in a statement made available yesterday after the Federation Account Allocation Committee meeting in Kaduna. He said that the 682.1 billion naira gross statutory revenue for the month was 112.2 billion naira, higher than the 569.2 billion naira shared in the month of September. Now, derivation of 13% mineral revenue accounted to about 58.2 billion naira, and cost of collection, transfer, and federal internal revenue service refund was 88.4 billion naira, and all these amounted to 788.1 billion naira available for distribution.
All right, we quickly move to the editorials. The editorial from Inside the Punch this morning is about nation's brand value and development. What is the value of our nation's brand? Do you understand? But let's get to the editorial inside the Guardian. It's all about the President Jonathan's transition hours. Okay, former President Jonathan's transition hours. Okay, now I don't know if we have from other newspapers this morning.
Of course we do. From Daily Independent, that is federal government's special intervention fund. Okay, there's quite one here, and another one for the Daily Sun, taming the malaria scourge. It's worrisome that in spite of the coordinated global efforts to curtail its spread, malaria has remained endemic in some parts of the world. And for the Nation newspaper, no gangster, please. The turmoil over 5 sacked lawmakers in Akwa Ibom does no honor to a decency. And also talked about high diabetic population. Said it's high time government at all levels created awareness on prevention of diabetes.
All right, it's time for you to call in now. You can do that now. There's phone lines or the studio lines at 080-9941-9418, 080-8033-2991, and 080-6291-4850. Remember the WhatsApp number is 080-999-08400. And the Twitter handle is at Rainbow941FM. If you're also watching on any of our Facebook live broadcasts, you can drop your contribution so that we can take them. Now let's get to the phone line. Switch off your radio set before calling. Please mind the language on radio, and please only dish out figures and numbers that have been verified. You understand? No rumors here, please. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, please let me just also add this to whatever contribution you want to make on the show today, ensure that it has something to do with the stories in the news at this point in time. All right, thank you very much. Remember, you'll just have 60 seconds. Hello, good morning. Yes, good morning. Yes, Salvation. It's good to have you on the show.
The issue or the allegation of the police, I'm looking that the airport killed one of their inspectors. I think that allegation tends to be false, because I followed that issue. As a matter of fact, the video of that inspector when he was leaving and his picture being snapped when he was being cleaned up from the gutter has been made available. So the police should apologize to us for sending us false information.
What is the source of your video?
The evidence online, and that was the information by the airport themselves. They publish it then I was calling out to the inspector, the inspector on Sabah also, when he was coming out from the quarter, the way he came, all the assistant man, he came for a meeting. The teacher everything he with it. And the first to tell us, okay, this our inspector have been recovered. It must be. She apologized to us for that.
Oh, okay, we don't have any official statement from the police that the official the inspector is no longer dead. So I think we're just gonna roll. We're just gonna work with what we have right now. Thank you very much for sharing. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
This is from California.
You're welcome, Ojukwu. Go on.
I want to talk about the issue of their price. I get to it. Because the issue of their price can never be taken away. You need to sit down together and talk whether to live together. Because obviously, it's out of hand. I get to it. You need to sit down and talk whether to live together or not.
Thank you very much, Ojukwu, for your contribution. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
My name is Ifedi. I'm calling from Lekki.
Oh, it's good to have you. Go on.
Good morning, Barista. Good morning, everybody in the house.
Good morning.
Morning.
So I thought, because of these issues of our policemen, army, stars, here and there, if anyone has not had any issue with all these policemen, Nigerian forces, like police force, army, and all of them, you will not really know how terrible these people are. And they lie a lot. There was a time I had issue with policemen somewhere around the place. They had my plate number removed. And even when I had to lie at the police station that I did, imagine almost 10 policemen in a truck. They lied that I picked them up. Imagine. If not that luckily their boss knew me, so they took my plate number and even charged me to court. I went back to pick up my plate number. Only for the man to be surprised that it's actually me they labeled those lies again. Shooting people unnecessarily. When you tend to go and fight Boko Haram, they kill them all. They go with knockouts and matches.
All right.
They kill them like that.
Thank you very much.
It's so terrible.
Thank you
They're
very
terrible
much.
people.
I have to let you go now. Your time is fast spent. Okay. While I can't say anything about the Boko Haram issue, we just urge, these are some of the realities of our times now, and we just want to urge this security agencies.
We also
to
want
do
to
more.
advise that since we are approaching the end of the year, the tension is higher now. So please, as much as possible, be civil in your interactions with people. A lot of people are on edge, and we know the realities we have.
But what can you speak to that what happened in Yanopata yesterday, where someone just shot a LASMA official just like that?
That is the extreme case. If you even see somebody in uniform walking with a great man, the way he walks alone is with authority. And that is the systemic issue we should deal with. It's an issue of accountability. Why are we in the traffic and some people bring their siren and bamboozle people off the way,
annoying.
drive against one way? So the law must be applicable to all, and that is why we are not even paying attention to infrastructural development. I understand that the Badagry way that the president said they should go and fix, they are even fixing the portions that are not so bad. The Antonio under the bridge that was fixed, we thank God for that. There are still about 7 potholes, about 100 meters away towards the Independence Tunnel by Maryland. So these are issues that must be followed up.
And these are even security agencies that are supposed to work together, you understand? But let's have WhatsApp contributions.
No, let's start with Facebook Live contribution. Let me start with this one. Consequential Richie says, actually, I want the barrister to explain how we can go about the project Nigeria. We always talk about who are those to make it. Even I doubt if it's possible because, say, we have different views about things. Ikoku personally make a sense. I wholeheartedly condemn the beheading that took place in Lagos and the shooting of last official by a patrolling SARS tuber. Okay?
Well, let's take tweets. Time will not really permit us to do all that. Let's take tweets. Fredrickson says, I am happy that President Muhammad Buhari has slashed basic examinations fees. At least it's better than none in the education sector. Ike says, good morning. My take is on discos and the humongous estimated bills Nigerians are subjected to part with every month, while the government fold their hands and watch. And Vincent Royce says, as long as we don't care or value the life of our soldiers, the insurgent war will continue. We can't have a CNC as a retired army general and our military will be in shambles. Go to work. And okay, I'll just take this one from aka Ricky. In my opinion, the peace pact is not going to stop the mudslinging hate speech. Or what is going to stop it? Benvin Wike says, a Ghanaian soldier is wounded at a battlefield and taken to a mere clinic. The son of a so-called leader falls from bike and flown abroad for treatment. A worker works for 26 days, earns 18,000 naira. Another sits in for 12 days, earns 29 million naira. Alright, next move global idea says, I plead with all Nigerians to say no to vote selling and buying. There is an intelligence report by us that political parties are recruiting people already with 10,000 naira as payment to sell their votes in 2019 election. No to vote selling. Top Foundation, I see your contribution. Brenda Wiki, Alex Steph London, MC3 Star, I see you. But we need to take just a few WhatsApp messages and close the show.
Yeah. Alright, I have this one. No Rainbow, no Radio. Lazarus from Akute says, if the president and APC are concerned about parents' plight in education, they should cut all exams fees by 50%. Thank you. And slashes costs of JAM, SSC, and microphones is a welcome development. Where are we on the minimum wage, please? Ikade is asking that question.
Just as I said, there's a meeting holding tomorrow, and let's see how that will go. Well, on that note, we must bring to a close the newspaper headlines and editorial. Barrister Jerry, put your short, pattern short.
Yeah, the Lord says in Jeremiah 31:3, Jeremiah 31:3, I have loved you with an everlasting love. I have drawn you with unfailing kindness. So please, don't get carried away by the circumstances and don't get beaten. The best way to respond to hatred is to trigger love. The one who loves is the greatest. Have a blessed day. God bless Nigeria.
Right, God bless Nigeria. Dreaming is all right, but let us all wake up and act our dreams. Olola Soyal is my name. Do have a beautiful day.
Yes, don't let anyone or anything stop you from having a fantastic Thursday. My name is Olaolu Awe. Good morning.
Tomorrow.
Jerry.
Yeah.
La, la, la.
It's still the Rainbow Morning Show on Rainbow 94.1 FM. Now we move to sports, proudly sponsored by Profit Arcade. This interaction is, sponsored by Profit Arcade. And Mayowa Wulabi is right here in the studio. Good morning, Mayowa.
Good morning, Olaolu. How are you doing?
I am fine.
Great. You guys are helping our community. A lot of information is really going on.
Really?
Awesome. My name is Mayo Wolabi, as Olaolu has rightly said. I'm from Profit Arcade, and we are a team of professionals geared at providing financial knowledge to the space. What we have done is to identify an industry that can help everyone, which is forex trading. A lot of people have heard us on radio, and they are still yet to understand the power of what we're talking about. This is an industry that has been on for over decades. We have millions and thousands of people that trade in this industry. For those who are totally new, who are just listening to us for the first time, what is Forex? Forex is all about buying and selling of currencies. This is beyond the Bureau de Change. The Bureau de Change is a first level of foreign exchange. However, there is a global level that has all the international currencies on a tradable platform where everyone can buy and sell it. And because every current country holds forth the power of their currency, they don't want it to fall. Every day it keeps fluctuating up and down, and as it goes up and down, individuals, banks, hedge fund traders, government, they make their money daily. You need to also know that forex industry has a $5.3 trillion on an average every single day, and that's a lot of money. As I do say that the whole budget of Nigeria is like a drop of water here. Somebody asked me, he said, sir, if everybody's trading forex, will the market still be there? The market will still be there because it has the capacity to take everyone. It's the largest and the most liquid financial market. Every single day there's a transaction because people travel every day. There's a price for every currency per day, and that means we have an open field for us to play and to make money daily. And until all the currency becomes one, forex trading will not stop. So I have a legacy with me that I can hand over to my son and I can hand over to my daughter. It is an industry that does not have competition. So that means I can share my strategy with anyone and they can be making the same money, and I'm not threatening and the person is not threatening. For the first time, I'm telling you, this is an industry where everyone can be empowered. I tell you, this has helped a lot of people. In the saying of our former CBN governor, and I said, and I quote, he said, I could sit in my garden and trade forex and multiply my money than to be a CBN governor. You understand the power of what we're talking about to be a CBN governor. However, he has a skill set that nobody can take away from him. That's the same way a driver learns how to drive, the same way a fashionista learns how to work on his fashion, the same way a forex trader learns how to buy, knows when to sell. And this is what has helped a lot of people. I can tell you for free, people are winning every single day, having to learn it. And this is what will stay with you till rapture happens or anyone you want to talk about. So you want to be a part of this symposium we've put together tomorrow. We have partnered with a company called International Market Life, and International Market Life is a first-class forex education and software provider. It is not a get-rich-quick or another Ponzi. Can you trade for us? This is all about you handling it yourself, learning it and knowing it. As I do tell our students, I tell them that this does not disturb anything you're doing. The same way we have people who still work 9 to 5, 8 to 6. They can still trade in the industry, having to use their phone to copy and paste. We've partnered with an industry, with a company called International Market Life, which is a first-class forex education. They've produced applications that will enhance you to be able to copy and paste trades from the professional traders in the company. They've also put together 17 hours video that has been simplified to help everyone who is a rookie, who is a starter, that you can watch the video. And as I do tell my student, I say, sir, enough of us watching Telemundo contributing. Can we start watching a mentor that will be paying us earning while we are learning? You don't want to miss tomorrow's symposium. It's going to be happening at the Rembrandt Hotel beside Ikeja City Mall, ShopRite, Lagos, and we just have 80 seats available. So if I were you, I would get a seat reservation to know more, to see how the people are multiplying their money every single day. All you need to do is to text the word profit to 081 50 64 20 20 081 50 64 2020. It's going to be happening tomorrow at the Rembrandt Hotel beside Ikeja City Mall, ShopRite. 10:45 a.m. tomorrow, and thank God tomorrow is Friday. We can all take time and be there. We're going to be displaying you the strength of the tools that we have. And in our training, I share with people, I said to them, I say that you need to know that there is a roof in the market. You need to know that there is a flaw in the market. You just need to identify these per time before you put in your money. And this is available Monday to Friday. You will also be having access to our continuous training, which is a methodology that has helped a lot of people to be able to keep making money daily. We'll also be giving you an option for you to say, oh, Mayowa, I want to have more time for this. You can come to our training center and you can get the knowledge more and more. Tomorrow's meeting is going to be awesome and you just need to be there. In the saying of my mentor and my coach, he said, for you to be successful in life, you must understand the power of 3 equations. Number 1 of them is called desire. The second one is called plus skill. So if you have good desire but you don't have a skill set, nothing will be happening. And my coach said to me, Mayowa, skills pays bills. Skills pays bills. And my mom will say, I tell her where any contonije. So that means if I have something that I'm doing, I can multiply my money and I can earn more. And I tell people, the vehicle you choose will determine where you will get there. Some people travel by plane, they enjoy comfort. Some people go by road, and you don't want to try bicycle. The vehicle you choose will determine the kind of money you will earn and will determine where you're going to get there. Join us tomorrow at the Rembrandt Hotel beside Ikeja City Mall for a Forex training symposium, 10:45 a.m. Text the word profit, PROFIT, to 081 50 64 2020. Some people are calling in now. Please don't call, just text, so that it is a first come first serve, so you can get a seat reservation tomorrow. Just text the word profit to 081 50 64 2020.
Right.
081 50 64 2020. See you guys tomorrow, 10:45 a.m. at the Rembrandt Hotel beside Ikeja City Mall Shopper.
Yes, thank you very much, Mayowa Uwolabi. It is from Prophet again. When you feel like giving up, like calling it quits, just try one more time. Do that a little bit more. Encourage yourself. Don't discourage yourself. My name is Olaoluwawe. Morning edition with Moye comes up now.
That's good. Very well. I just want to let you know what you did that time was